Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k, and boy have we got some news that has been, it's not been released by Games Workshop or Warhammer Community, but it has been released by reliable sources. That's all I'll say about that. And today I wanted to talk about one of the new detachments from the Necrons Codex that's coming out in, well, pre-orders in a few weeks. So we're going to today talk about the Canoptek Court detachment. So that's the Canoptek and Cryptek detachment, I guess. And we're going to discuss the detachment rule, all of the enhancements, all of the stratagems, and just give you my first thoughts of this whole detachment as, you know, an actual detachment for our codex. So let's just get into this. In fact, before we do get into this, bear in mind guys, we did just release, it was only yesterday, it was our giveaway video. So if you're yet to get involved in that, please do so. The link will be in the description, the link will be up in the top right of your screen. I'm going to plaster it everywhere. If you could share it, that will be even better. Give you and your friends a chance of winning 9 or a possible 9 prizes from that giveaway. So yeah, check that out. But now let's get into the Canoptek Court. So the detachment rule is called Power Matrix. What is Power Matrix? Those of you that are familiar with Chaos Demons, which I am because I play them quite a lot, it's got a very similar feel to their Shadow of Chaos. So I'll read this out. All Cryptek and Canoptek units in your army reroll hit rolls of a 1, and while they're wholly within the power matrix, they also gain full rerolls of their hit rolls. So how do you get within a power matrix, you may ask? So first of all, your home deployment area is your power matrix. That's the first part of your power matrix. You're going to get that automatically, and that should stay throughout the game. Now, in the No Man's Land, if you have at least half of the objectives, that will also be classed as your power matrix. So if there are, say, four objectives in the No Man's Land and you've got 2 of them, then the entire No Man's Land is your power matrix. So you'll be getting full rerolls for all your Canoptek and Cryptek units. And if, of course, you get your opponent's deployment's objective marker, again, that will become, I believe that becomes your power matrix. I'm not entirely sure on that one. I don't have the book. Of course, nobody's got the book, or nobody like us. We don't have the book. I'm just getting this from a third-party source. I'm not 100% sure if the enemy deployment zone is gettable or not. It probably is because the Shadow of Chaos is from the Chaos Demons book. So you'll be getting full rerolls if you're within your power matrix, and if you're not, you're just going to be rerolling hit rolls of a 1 for Canoptek units and Cryptek units. Now, bear in mind, a Cryptek unit could be a Technomancer within 20 Necron Warriors. That would be classed as a Cryptek unit, because they share keywords and all that stuff. So it does count for those kind of things. Now, this ability is pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, what is this going to be good for? Let's start us off with, say, the Canoptek Doomstalkers. Doomstalkers, they hit on 4s naturally. And you've not got the Sovereign Coronal in this detachment, although that has been changed. The name of that is something different now. So you're not going to get a +1 from there, but you're going to get a reroll of a hit roll of a 1, and in fact it's likely going to be full rerolls because they're likely going to be in their own deployment zone. So rerolling, and plus you've got the ability, haven't you, where you're going to have an Overwatch of a 5+, so that'll be rerollable. So that means that'll be really useful for doing that. Other units, Canoptek Wraiths, they're actually now pretty decent in this detachment, so don't write them off. Before this codex in the index, they were pretty garbage in my opinion. Now they're making a comeback. They're going to be useful for all the rerolls, and there's a lot of things that will relate to them. As an example, a little spoiler, you can now have a unit, or now have a character that leads Canoptek Wraiths, one of the Crypteks, well, the Crypteks in fact. So that's going to interact with enhancements, stratagems, and all that jazz. And as we mentioned, Necron Warriors, you can have a Cryptek leader, Immortals. I mean, if you've got your warriors, you could be fishing for lethal hits now, because you're re-rolling everything. Maybe it's sustained hits with some Tesla carbines. Again, if you've got a Cryptek leader in there, they're going to class as a Cryptek unit. So yeah, it's good for all those things. I think it's a decent ability. Enhancement-wise, we've got 4 new enhancements to get our hands into. The first one is Dimensional Sanctum. Now, Dimensional Sanctum basically gives a Canoptek unit the Infiltrator's ability. So far we've got like flayed ones have infiltrators, where you can deploy them in the No Man's Land as long as they're 9 inches away from enemy units. You can now do this with an enhancement for a Cryptek, and I mean, imagine you again do this with maybe it's Canoptek Wraiths. You've now given a very quick unit Infiltrate. So they can start in the battlefield 9 inches away from enemy models, and if we go first, bang, we're pretty much in. You could do it with 20 Necron Warriors, so you're putting them onto an objective in the no man's land from very early on, well, in deployment in fact, and you're going to possibly unlock the whole of your power matrix. Maybe you've got most of it, you might need another objective in the no man's land to unlock it, but it's a good start. If you've got your warriors there, and then you just get one more unit on another objective, maybe that's enough. It depends on the objective, doesn't it, on the mission and that. So yeah, that could be what you use that enhancement for, which is Dimensional Sanctum. Next we've got Hyperphase Fulcrum, giving rerolls of 1s to wound to a unit that's being led by this leader. So that's the other enhancement. I think that's okay. Rerolls of, rerolling wound rolls of a 1. Again, it could be a Technomancer with Canoptek Wraiths. Now, they're not going to have Infiltrate because you've not got those 2 leaders in there, because that's a different enhancement. But if you wanted to start them off as they were, you're going to get your rerolls of a 1 to hit anyway, and maybe even full rerolls if you are in the Power Matrix. But also getting rerolls of a 1 to wound as well. We're going to get a lot of rerolls in this detachment, which is quite cool. So the next one is Auto Divinator, which basically whenever your opponent gains a CP through any sort of abilities, on a 2+, you also gain that CP. So that's going to be quite good. I mean, it's suggested that this detachment is going to be quite CP heavy, CP hungry. So gaining CP through different means. I mean, maybe you just got Immatech as well, but there's another way to do this. And of course, the Overlord's ability to be able to use battle tactics, stratagems will also benefit us if we're going to be CP heavy. But that's the third one. And the last one is the Mesodermal Tesla Weave, which has made its comeback from 9th edition. And it's now used on an enemy unit that targets the bearer's unit for a charge. And you're going to be throwing out mortal wounds on a 2+, and you can do this once per phase. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's okay. I think I do quite like the Infiltrate ability, though, with the Dimensional Sanctum. And, yeah, Wraiths, Warriors, they're the 2 that I'm really looking at. But there's going to be a lot more, I suppose. There's going to be a lot more. I mean, it could be Lich Guard. Sticking a load of Sword and Shield Lich Guard onto an objective. They're not, of course, Canoptek, but there's going to be a Cryptek in the unit. So that, therefore, makes them a Cryptek unit. So just because it is a Canoptek and Cryptek detachment, that doesn't mean we're not going to gain these kind of benefits with other units. It just depends on what units are leading what, I guess. So that's the enhancements. Let's move into the stratagems. We've got some new stratagems, of course. We've got 6 new ones to talk about. The first one is this, how do you even pronounce that? Science Shore of Eradication. Now this one is 2 CP. A little bit expensive. It's battle tactics, so you could get it down to nothing if it's got an Overlord there. Units that are within, or wholly within, your power matrix gain devastating wounds. Just like that. So, think about this for a moment. Like, if you've got, say, Tesla Carbine Immortals with a Plasmancer, so you're already re-rolling all your hit rolls in the power matrix, because you'll be in the power matrix to use this. So you're re-rolling all your hit rolls, you're fishing for 5+ because of sustained hits with the Plasmancer. You're then picking up those dice, and when you do the wound roll, you're re-rolling wound rolls because Immortals do that. And because of all those re-rolls, you're now going to be fishing for devastating wounds as well, which is quite cool. So you're loads of re-rolls, devastating wounds on top. That is 2 CP. If you've got an Overlord there, it's free, but it can be quite brutal. Curse of the Cryptek for 1 command point. You're basically triggering this after an enemy unit destroys a Cryptek from your army. So for the rest of the game, all your Canoptek units are going to have a +1 to hit and a +1 to wound against the unit that basically killed your Cryptek. So that's kind of it. It feels a little bit like, what was it? Was it the Doomstalker used to have that thing? Where it was Curse of the Doomstalker, I think it was. It's basically that, but it's all your Canoptek stuff, not just the Doomstalker. Solar Pulse for 1 CP. So you pick an objective within 18 inches of the bearer, and basically, army-wide, you're going to get ignores cover against that enemy unit within range of that objective for that phase. So that can be, that's very situational. If you need the AP, or if you need to get the cover off, it's okay. We've got reactive subroutines for 1 command point. Enemy units ending a move within 9 inches of a Canoptek unit, so they're basically trying to line up a charge potentially. We get to move our unit 6 inches away, or 6 inches in a direction. Likely it's going to be away, unless there's some sort of objective around, so maybe you want to get more onto the objective, more OC perhaps. It's not going to be Warriors and Immortals, is it? 'Cause it's a Canoptek unit, so that's not going to happen. But if it was Canoptek Wraiths, it could be Canoptek Acanthrites. I mean, all the Canoptek stuff kind of wants to fight. Maybe it's a Doomstalker, in fact. That's a good example. A Doomstalker could just move back, then it's not going to be tagged in combat. But yeah, not Warriors, not Immortals, they're not Canoptek. Counter-temporal shift, 1 command point, basically gives Lone Operative to a Canoptek unit. It can't be fired at unless within 12 inches, so it's basically Lone Operative. Now I'm thinking for this one, the Canoptek Reanimator. Reanimator, you want to keep it alive because it's doing a lot of work throughout the game, giving you the extra reanimation protocols D3. Yes, it's got the 4+0 no pain save, but it can get targeted, it can go down. I mean, just like in the battle report I did recently, I left it quite exposed, not expecting it to get targeted because my opponent didn't have that much shooting. But when the Soul Grinder got quite close, it was targeted, it should have died. It should have died. I got a bit jammy with the Feel No Pain rolls. But having Lone Operative means, you know, they've got to be within 12. So for most of the battle, they can keep backing off or keep just moving around. Lone Operative, nice. Then the final stratagem is Suboptimal Facade, 1 command point. It's a Canoptek unit that's a target of a charge. So as soon as they are a target of a charge, a Canoptek unit that is, you get to use reanimation protocols. So again, you could be within 12 of a reanimator, so that's basically D3 and then another D3. Maybe that gets you enough models back to fight better. Just gives you a bit more durability for the unit. And, I mean, the likelihood is if your opponent's lining up a charge, they're likely expecting to do enough damage to you. So it probably will be a bit less useful. I suppose it just depends on the situation, doesn't it? But yeah, overall, I kind of like this one. I think this may be one of the go-tos. I mean, I think I'm preferring other detachments that we've got, but I do like this one. And it also brings a bit of life to the Forge World units, because we've not really spoken about them. The Tomb Sentinel, the Tomb Stalker, the Acanthrites, all of them are now pretty good. I mean, the bigger Forge World things, the Stalker and the Sentinel, they have got their own abilities where they can come in anyway, so giving them, say, Lone Operative, or what else could they have? You know, having all the rerolls could be pretty good, especially the Sentinel. So that could be useful. Acanthrites as well with their, I always forget, I just call it the melters. It's not a melter technically, I forgot what the weapon is. That could be pretty good for the, you know, all the rerolls. The race have definitely improved this edition, or this codex, because they've now got a natural leader. Technomancer would be a really good, obvious example, because Technomancers could heal a unit or heal a model, but also bring to the unit an enhancement such as Infiltrate. So having Wraiths that I said it twice now. Having the Wraiths that have Infiltrate, and they've already got the rapid speed anyway. They've got the durability with the in-run save. You can use their ability to pass over models to throw out mortal wounds. There's a lot there. I mean, instead of having Infiltrate, you could use a stratagem to give them devastating wounds. That could be useful. And even like Cryptex that are leading warriors, leading immortals, they have a use too. So it's not just Canoptek stuff, it's not just the Cryptex. Other models, other units that relate to having a Cryptek leader will also be very useful in this detachment. I mean, infiltrating 20 warriors to unlock that power matrix, I think, is a really good option, because 20 warriors is really hard to deal with. Now this time we're not going to have the protocol of Undying Legions and all that kind of stuff to keep pumping back the warriors. We still could have an Overlord with a Resurrection Orb. We could still have a Ghost Arc. So there's still ways of keeping our warriors intact. We've still got, you know, the standard Reanimator. Their numbers is Legion for the warrior's ability. There's still loads of ways to keep them up and running. We've just lost that one stratagem because that's a different detachment. So they're still good. They're still good. Then they're going to have all the rerolls as well, which is even better. And then, of course, you bring the Reanimator with Lone Operative stratagem as well, which I think is cool. So yeah, guys, that is the Canoptek Court Detachment. Just sort of summarise. I've not gone too deep into this. Of course, not gone into like really hard tactical analysis yet. This is just my sort of brief overview. I only read this about an hour ago. I'm going to be doing this for every detachment because even the Awakened Dynasty detachment has a few changes, so we're going to have to go over that as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your synergies? What are your combos? Let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, thank you all for watching. Get involved in the giveaway, and I'll see you in the next one.